Why don't we go ahead and get into the movie since we're doing a movie talk? Anybody watch The Circle?
I watched it.
I've seen it before.
Oh, you already seen it?
Yeah, but I watched it again.
So it's got a big time cast in it. Emma Watson, Bill Paxton, Tom Hanks.
Bill Paxton was barely in it, though.
Yeah.
What's that?
Bill Paxton was barely in it.
Plays Emma Watson's dad, and so I'll give you a quick overview of the premise. Is that Emma Watson gets in. What does she get in, like an argument or something, and gets upset with her friend and goes kayaking at night.
You jumped way
That's
into
like
that.
the middle.
Oh, okay,
yeah. So she gets a job at a tech company
that's
kind of like
she works at a
somewhere
call
between
center
Apple
first.
and Google.
She works at a call center first, right?
Right, but then she gets a job at a tech place. A tech place called The Circle. That's basically like a combination of Apple and Google.
I would say Facebook more than anything.
No, Facebook's not trying to encompass everything. Facebook is just a.
Well, yeah, they are. Okay, so they had.
There was a very social aspect to it, so
yeah,
I would say it's a mixture of all three.
They got their start by that True You app. So The Circle did that social media app. That's what made them all their money, and then they started branching out into cameras and all that stuff. So,
all right.
I would throw Facebook in there in the mix at least.
Okay, so the way it was kind of explained at first, I thought it had more of like other things, like kind of like Google, where it dealt with like storage and search and other things, and then it had another
branching into that.
Right. Okay. So it's kind of okay. Facebook is probably a better analogy then. I'm sorry. So they go into this. She works for this company called The Circle, which is basically like like Facebook branching into everything, and they have this massive compound where they have basically everything, including dorms, all on this giant fucking compound. So these people live there, and they want when you work there, you have to be basically part of their whole social aspect, which is all the social gatherings and stuff on the compound, and everybody has to be engaged with everybody. That's part of working for the company. Is you also have to be part of that their social circle, for lack of a better word. You also have to be on. They give you a little watch, and they follow you, your health wise and everything.
If you want to be on their health plan, that was the whole thing.
Was that the whole thing? Because I thought once she was there, they were kind of like,
Her friend got her on the health plan.
Well, she was kind of even tricked to drinking the little stuff to start her whole monitoring stuff. She's like, here, drink this. No, drink all of it.
And you could see Emma Watson's eyeball twitch every time they got a little bit more invasive in her life. But the whole thing with the healthcare stuff was, her friend took her there, and that was the girl from Doctor Who. She played, Amy? Pond. Yeah. Anyways, took her there and got her the wristband that monitored every single aspect of her body.
Right.
And then was like, when she wasn't able to be friends with everybody and do all the social crap because she had to go home and check on her dad who had an event, they were like, we'll do this for your dad too so that you can come hang out with us more.
All right, before you get sidetracked, give a quick overview of the movie.
This is the overview.
We'll get into details.
Danny, can you do me one favor, though? Can you move the mic back just a little bit? We got a little Darth Vader action going.
All right. How about now? Is it better?
Okay, so...
No more breathing?
Anyway, there's this company, and it's branching out into things. They're getting into cameras and metrics and everything else, and more invasive into people's privacy and lives. And they do show aspects of ruining people's lives, but it's mostly about growing this business. And then it's about that lack of privacy and what it causes. And I thought it started out strong with that message, and then it just...
Yeah, so it started off with, it started off with the, so the company wants, it keeps pushing for, what do they call it? Total
transparency.
Total transparency. So that there is no more secrets, no more privacy whatsoever. Everything is exposed completely. And they're trying to promote this as a good thing.
They mainly talk about politics. first.
Not
Like,
just
Well, yeah, they
politics.
started with they did it with politics because there was the first person to go fully transparent was a politician, and then
Emma's character.
Emma's character winds up going fully transparent, and
I'm gonna stick a pin in the whole thing right there because I have to say something about this. Like, the only time she was allowed to turn off the camera was 3 minutes to go to the bathroom.
3 minutes.
3 minutes to go. What are you supposed to do when you're out? When you bring a guy home or a girl home, when Emma brings whatever she brings home, you know.
How many times have you only been in there for 3 minutes?
There's that too. You know, what are they gonna? Are they gonna turn the camera back on mid-wipe?
Yeah. Okay. So that was part of the total transparency. So they wanted the total transparency and they wanted to push total transparency just so basically that they could monitor everybody. And Emma Watson's character was going like just all in on this. And then their total transparency, they changed to a new program where they can find people. They used it once they showed it off once to find somebody who was
a child killer or something.
Yeah, she killed some woman who killed her children and then escaped from jail. So they were able to find her. And then they used another example to find a friend of hers who is just completely against all of like technology and stuff. So this guy, when they were following him, and
they'd already ruined his life to some extent because he did wood carvings and made some antlers into a chandelier.
They took a picture of him, and everybody got onto him saying he shot the deer
killer, blah blah blah.
Right. But yeah, they kept on chasing him for some reason, and he just kept on running away from them for some reason. I'm not sure why he just didn't.
That whole scene was ridiculous.
It was, and then he
drives off a bridge.
Well, a drone came down and basically slammed into the truck while he was on the bridge, and that caused him to veer off the bridge.
But why? Well, why is he running? What is he running away from? There's
just
people
all
outside
the
of his house.
He has a problem where he doesn't like people,
and that's fine. But what do these people want?
How many people showed up to his house?
Well, there was two initially.
If that many people showed up to my house and started beating on my doors the way they were beating on his door and trying sticking cameras in the windows, this is Texas. I'm coming out with a shotgun.
Well, the whole scene was just dumb, though. It was just so.
It was contrived. And
then, very contrived.
And yes, I'm continuing from where he left off. And then Emma's extremely upset about that. But you can tell that there's spin going on. And I really think that this movie would have done a whole lot better as a miniseries with a lot more time, a lot more explanations, and possibly some more character build.
I mean, it was frustrating. Just because it has everything that we talk about all the time about
the loss of privacy,
surveillance state, surveillance capitalism, whatever you want to call it. It has all the hallmarks. It has the evil CEO and Tom Hanks' character who plays the nice guy, but he has this stupid line about privacy being the enemy, and you know, when everybody's lives are available or transparent, that there will never be no more crime or whatever, you know. It's shit we talk about all the time, but the movie
they actually
is
talk about putting trackers into babies' bones.
Yeah, into the bones of babies, but the director or whoever was in control of the flow of this movie made it so flat, so boring for the subject matter.
Really, it was because of the limited time frame. And this part that I'm about to talk about, it was trying to express something very quickly, and you could see it if you were paying attention. When she went back to work and her two of the three bosses, because the other guy, the MacGuffin, is off hiding somewhere, come talk to her, you can tell that there's spin there because they say that that this was a deranged individual that did this, and they're talking about her friend, and you can tell right then that she is planning on something because she didn't even argue with them or say anything about them calling her friend deranged. He wasn't deranged. They just pushed him into driving off a freaking bridge. But yeah.
The whole message of this movie is there's no subtlety whatsoever. I mean, they make Tom Hanks say the dumbest supervillain lines, and Bill Paxton, fucked. Or not Bill Paxton, but
we're so fucked.
Patton Oswalt is even worse. And if you had it like a capable director, I think this would have made a cool, like almost horror movie. You know, especially about how far they were willing to go with the chips in babies' bones and things like that. And it could have made it a lot more tense and just supposedly it's based on a book, and I haven't read the book. Maybe the book's a lot better, but I think they just picked the wrong director or wrong.
I think they condensed it too much.
Screenwriter or whoever to do this movie, and it's just they instead of adding nuance and things like that, it was just like somebody made it with just a hammer instead of, any subtlety or any, and everything was so on the nose, and
what you're saying
it was just a missed opportunity,
What you're saying there makes the ending so much worse.
Oh, yes, God.
So much worse. And okay, from there, and yes, I'm going to give away the ending. I don't care.
So if you haven't seen it, and you don't want it spoiled.
It's been out for a long time.
Yeah, we're going to give it away.
From there, throughout this movie, you've had the third person that helped build this company that kind of separated himself from the compmet and is
John Boyega.
Not really in hiding. He Ty something or other.
Yeah.
But he's been in the background. He's met Emma once or twice, and well, she goes and talks to him and sets this all up because he doesn't like the direction the company is heading with this whole anti-privacy crap.
He's like the conscience of the movie, basically.
So at the final town hall, he's the MacGuffin. He's the one that goes and gets all the information and makes it public.
He's the Lugcast.
And that's when Emma gives her speech about, making the two CEOs fully transparent.
Right.
And the emails.
Totally transparent, and sends out their emails and all their private emails and all their other private secure emails that their wives don't know about, blah, blah, etc. Right. And that's when the guy, Tom Hanks, leans over and says, "We're so fucked." And then during her speech, she's also saying that, she completely agrees with this whole let's get rid of all privacy and puts cameras everywhere. And at the very, very end, that outgoing shot, she's kayaking, which is her favorite thing because she almost killed herself doing it. All the drones are flying around. So that was the future where privacy is completely gone. Now, do you guys want to say anything else about the movie? Did I miss anything there?
No, that sums it up. So the moral of the story is privacy is bad.
Now, I kind of agree. Not that privacy is bad. I think that everybody should have privacy, but I kind of think that that's the way that the direction that the world is going. That eventually there will be so much technology there that privacy is going to be essentially non-existent.
Yeah, I mean that's what bullshit. I think the same thing, and we talk about this on the movie all the time, and it's such a great subject matter, especially for this podcast. But to execute it so poorly, and it just sucks. I think that's what makes me so mad at this movie, is that they could have done it in such a much better way. And I don't even think it was totally the time limitation. I think just add some subtlety. It doesn't have, everything doesn't have to be right on the nose and in your face and so obvious.
Right.
Modern audiences aren't that fucking stupid. They can figure shit out.
I would more agree with you if it wasn't for that ending. I mean, throughout the whole thing, they're trying to showcase how bad it is to lose all your privacy, everything being out there to everybody else, and how judgmental everybody is, and the bad things that can happen from that. And then they're like, yeah, we're all in on this anyway.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Emma Watson is not a great actress. I thought Tom Hanks was pretty awesome in this, mainly because he's Tom Hanks, and just how he appeared to be so likable to the public. Where he's like America's dad or whatever, by now, but he's underneath, then you've got his real ego is displayed within Patton Oswalt, his kind of
Patton
henchman.
Oswalt plays good sleazy guy.
Yeah, and for being
He
a comedic actor, I thought he did pretty damn good.
I like Patton Oswalt. There's a lot of things that he can do, and he's just about everywhere. He's great. Yeah, and I thought there was great acting all around except for her. I mean, she's fine, I guess, but I liked her redheaded friend. I liked her.
Everybody played like a caricature of somebody instead of somebody you can like identify with as a person. I thought, but I thought John Boyega did a pretty good job as the pissed off programmer guy. Didn't he start True You, the whole social app, or didn't he create it?
He invented it or whatever.
Yeah.
He was Ty.
Ty. I just felt like his whole character. He's just like, I feel so bad about all this bad stuff that's going on. It's like he could have outed those guys at any point. He had to wait around for Emma Watson's character for some reason. It's like he felt so bad about it. He should have taken action sooner. And I just the whole way it wrapped up. She's like, I'm like kind of responsible for like my friend driving off a bridge, and then I'm gonna go home, sleep it off, call somebody in Scotland, and then I'm gonna go burn this company down.
Yeah,
like,
Amelia Bond.
It was terrible pacing in it. Yeah.
Yeah, the tone was all over the place. They couldn't decide what kind of movie it was.
Actually, I'm glad that my privacy was protected by not watching this.
Yeah. You didn't miss anything that much, trust me. I think what made it so frustrating for me is just because this is a subject that I care about so much and that we discuss so much, and then...
Well, I think that ending is why the movie did not do well.
I think the whole movie is why this movie didn't do well.
Right.
Probably the direction more than anything. And but it had a killer cast outside of Emma Watson. Everybody else was great.
We didn't even talk about the embarrassing scene with her parents.
Right.
Oh, the real awkward.
Multiple awkwards.
Yeah. So do they not know she's wearing this?
No, the cameras were supposed to shut off during that time.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, the camera in her parents' bedroom was not supposed to be on, but it was when she had checked in to see how her parents were doing. And there's her mom sitting on top of her dad using a penis pump to try to get any sort of a thing going on there.
Very awkward. She pretty much alienates anybody that cared about her. I give this a thumbs down. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'll give it a meh.
Like I said, I thought it started out okay, and then
it was a meh.
It was a good example of a tech movie, but I'm going thumbs down on this one. This is just I couldn't do it.
I have to agree with Honky.
Yeah.
You give it a meh.
Meh. Half a star.
Half a star.
Half a star.
Because it actually was a full-on freaking tech movie.
Yes.
It was. I mean, that's what frustrates me so much.
It was interesting. Went the wrong direction. It was poorly done. Had a nice cast to it. But it was at least interesting.
And the moral goes against the entirety of the story.
Right. I'm not mad that I watched it. We've seen in the lists of movies that we've seen, there are movies where I've just been mad that I actually spent the time to watch that movie. And I've had to speed it up to at least 2x just to be able to force my way through it. This I actually watched at regular speed and was perfectly fine with it.
There are movies
didn't agree with it. Didn't like the writing, the way it went. Didn't like the writing or the storytelling necessarily. But I didn't have to force my way through it.
Yeah, and there are movies that I stopped.
Yeah.
10 minutes into it. I noped right out of.
Right. This was not that. This had enough to it that I at least was able to watch it. It was watchable. That's why it gets a meh.
And it had a storyline, which is more than you can say for movies like Bikini Hackers.
Yes. Oh, good God.
All right, what's next?
All right. Go ahead, Honky.
No, I just wanted to. You guys brought up a point that you feel like that everything is going to be everything is heading towards a point of complete transparency or something along those lines. Do you actually believe that?
Lack of privacy. Eventually, yes.
What? Why?
That's just the way things are going. It's more and more that way every year. I mean, think about things when you were a kid. There weren't cameras everywhere. Not everybody had a camera in their pocket. Not everything was posted on social media. Your life couldn't be ruined by saying one stupid thing.
That's a very fair point.
That, and also I think urban surveillance is really picking up as far as like what city governments and state governments, are adopting more and more cameras and shot finders and things like that, and police using drones, without search warrants now because the airspace supposedly is free reign. Just stuff like that.
Raiders.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have, like me, I have a Ring camera. And I have 2 Ring cameras. I have one at the back door. I have one at the front door. The back door one's a floodlight one. The front door one's a doorbell one. They can get hacked at any time, and my front door and back door will be available to the freaking world because it goes out to their servers instead of being something that I own and operate myself. There are people that have Ring cameras throughout the entirety of their homes.
That's crazy.
I can't ever imagine having a camera inside my home.
I had baby monitors.
I had a baby monitor, but that was it. I had, but it wasn't on any sort of a network. It basically just, it transmitted to the one receiver, and that was it, as far as I know. Is there a way to hack into that and to be able to get that? Fine, but it probably you have to catch it through the airwaves and be close enough to catch where it's transmitting from. So they'd have to be nearby, but it's not on the network anywhere or anything.
During the lockdown, during the time of COVID, when we were all stuck at home and the kids were doing school at home, I had to have cameras set up on my son to make sure that he was actually participating in his school stuff while I was out here working, because I couldn't be in the same room as him at the same time because he's doing his stuff, I'm doing my stuff. But I had to be able to keep an eye on him so that I could make sure that he was actually participating in school. So there are valid reasons for it, but in general, I wouldn't want them inside my house either.
You got to stay home?
Yes, because I don't work at a grocery store.
Yeah, my life didn't change at all.
But did your kids have to stay home and do school from home?
Yep, my wife had to basically, her job made her, forced her to take all of her PTO during that time she had to be off. Because there wasn't any daycare or anything else. Can't send them anywhere. They had to be home. My wife was home. And then after about a month of everything closing down, they sent out, the school system sent stuff down where she was able to do something close to a class or teaching. But and besides going from everything shutting down to, they sent us at the stores plastic face shields, and then we were finally able to get the masks and stuff. And nope, everybody talks about how they that during the time they stayed home, what they wound up doing. I went to work.
A lot of people did. Probably a majority of people did. Some of us did stay home and didn't leave the house, except to go see the grocery store every now and again. So, yeah, but I had to have some means of keeping an eye on him while still being able to do my work. But are those hooked up anymore?
Right?
No. Huh?
That was just for you, though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But it was also attached to, you can't buy from in the U.S. on Amazon or anything like that. I had to get them quickly because I needed them right then. Regular bog standard, access it over an IP address, IP cameras. It's always got to be through some service that reaches out somewhere and then comes back, and then you can access it that way.
Well, you could. I mean, I don't know.
I could have built my own. Yes, I've done that before.
I was going to say. I mean, it's there's a simple program on like
IP cam.
No, not even IP cam. I mean, just attach a USB camera to a Raspberry Pi or something. Some sort of Raspberry Pi. You probably do it even on a Zero if it's got a USB, and do. Get the name of the program.
There
It's got a
was
little owl.
one back in the day called Webcam XP.
Motion
Would do it.
Motion Eye.
Motion Eye, that's it.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Which is a fork of motion.
That's what I used for to watch my 3D printer, was just Motion Eye and
And I probably could have done that, but I
64.
didn't. I just went for a box solution because it was cheap, easy, and would have been here quickly.
There you go.
All my IoT devices are connected to that little mini router I have that's running OpenWRT, and then that has everything blacklisted from the internet, and they can only reach my Home Assistant servers.
And if you remember right, at that time frame, we were also having the chip shortage.
Yeah.
Had difficulty getting Raspberry Pis.
And cameras too, because everybody was working from home and stuff.
Or doing what I was doing, yeah.
Yeah, everybody wanted a camera, and there was a massive shortage on them.
Yeah, webcams were like super jacked up. I mean, we were looking to buy like 150 webcams at work to do telemedicine, and we were screwed. We paid through the nose for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because a lot of the doctors doing telehealths became huge during that time, and it was easy for people to do. Was just to do instead of going into office for a doctor's visit where they really weren't going to do much of anything anyways, besides talk to the doctor.
But
it was a mess.
Just because we're behind the curve doesn't mean we're not going to eventually end up the way a lot of European cities are, with like nearly complete CCTV coverage.
Yeah, That's what I'm more afraid of that than anything. I mean, not afraid, but expecting that.